Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Midtown High Dropouts. This is Anthony, and I'm joined by
Kyle and everyone else is fucking dead.
yeah, Nuts is sick,
Nuts, Paul just doesn't exist.
so it's just us today.
It's just we're so fucked.
Yeah,
And since we're down two men, we have a topic switch. Basically, Anthony and I are gonna talk about how we first got into Spider-Man, that kind of stuff. So Anthony, you should start off. What was your first introduction to
um,
being a fucking nerd?
I don't really know what age I was, but I know it was somewhere around 4 to 5. Um, my dad showed me the Spider-Man Raimi film, the first one, and I was like, "Wow, this is great!" And so, I don't know what year that was. I think that was around when Spider-Man 2 came out, so I also watched that
So
one.
yeah, uh-huh. I
And
mine's actually
yeah,
go on.
no,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
That's actually pretty similar to me. I vaguely remember getting into Spider-Man with the first Raimi film. My parents got it for like DVD, and I'm like, oh, this is some pretty good stuff. And I remember being pretty young because I was maybe same age around you. It was like I got the DVD right, but Spider-Man 2 was out, and I saw that in theaters. I remember,
Yeah.
and I remember the first Spider-Man actually kind of scared me a little bit because I couldn't
Yeah,
watch
the
the
scene where he turns into, Spider-Man when he's like on
yeah.
the floor and that skeleton thing, or I don't know what it was. I think it was Goblin that screams at the screen. I was like, oh
Oh
shit,
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit's.
yeah.
And also when
That
he's turning into Goblin.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's not like what I remember scaring me the most. It was like at the end. Like I couldn't watch Toby Maguire getting fucking exploded.
Dude,
That
I
was
thought that
kind of
scene was
like
awesome.
that freaked me out as a kid, and it also freaked me out. Like I guess I couldn't watch people die in movies because it just freaked me out because when Willem Dafoe fucking impales himself,
Yeah,
that freaked me out. Like it happened with
yeah.
me with a lot of films. Like it was Batman Begins. Like I couldn't watch the first 10 minutes because I couldn't watch Bruce Wayne's parents die. Like I had to like cover my eyes. I'm like I'm not about this.
Like I'm not about this dying life.
So that's like your first foray. Did it like continue after that? Like did you just start getting into fucking Spider-Man when you were younger?
Yeah,
Or
like
reading any
after
comics?
that, my first introduction to the comics was actually Amazing Fantasy 15. That was my first Spider-Man comic, and I think that's a good place to start.
That is a good place. That's his first appearance.
Yes, exactly. So,
No better place to start.
and then some
And
assholes in my grade tore that comic up. That was a
oh,
long
what the
time ago.
fuck?
Yeah, I know it was messed up.
Yeah. I can't like pinpoint a place where I first started reading the comics, but I remember when I was younger, my school had like book fairs. Do you have that?
Yeah, the
Where they like you
Scholastic. Yeah,
yeah, they sell fucking books and they had like this Spider-Man comic book. I'm like, "Oh, I'm all about this." So I wanted to get it. And I couldn't get it and I was really fucking sad. I'd have to borrow the copies that my friends bought cuz I my parents didn't buy me one. It was like it was like Marvel Adventures Spider-Man. It was like that for all ages because they made an all ages run of
yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
And then there was that and like there's like a Spider-Man Power Pack crossover in it too. So that was pretty rad. And it has like one of my favorite artists who did it. And I remember funny story. I remember like trying to trade a Spider-Man comic book with another kid at my school for something, but I never got it whatever I was trading it for, and I never got the comic book back either. He just kept the fucking comic book.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
God,
And I don't remember the specific issue. It was like an issue where nothing happened.
that sounds terrible. I mean, what was the first Spider-Man show you watched?
Spider-Man, oh, Spectacular. Well, actually, I think Spectacular is the one I remember the most because it actually aired when I was a kid, but I definitely watched like the reruns of the 90s show.
Yeah,
If I found it on YouTube, I'd be like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm watching this."
yeah. I remember going to Blockbuster when that was a thing, and getting like the '90s show. That he also they also had like a couple animated movies, right? The '90s
I
show.
think no, the 90s show the those movies were like they like combined a few episodes and they
Oh,
like, "Hey, here's this movie" because there was
yeah,
like I think I know what you're talking about. It was like Spider-Man versus Venom,
yeah. There was one
fucking
with
like and
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah, there's one with
Yeah, that's the
Daredevil.
one I got.
I remember that Venom storyline pretty fucking well. Like all the Venom stuff because that was always on. Like when it was a rerun, so I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. Who doesn't love this Venom shit? But
Um,
yeah.
I think my first introduction to Venom was the Ultimate Spider-Man game.
What? Oh, I had that game too. I had it for GameCube, and I never got past it as a kid because I got stuck on the first fucking Human Torch race because I was
Oh,
ass.
my-
I fucking like would lose my mind because this little at because he taunts you every time you lose, right? I'm like,
yeah.
I want to fucking kick this guy's ass, but I can't do it. I don't even know. I haven't even done it to this day, so I need to like go find my copy of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, like I
So
I still haven't
satisfying when you
done
beat
it.
him.
And like I watched playthroughs. That's not the only time you race him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck.
Well, I mean, after that first one, I think it's a choice to go race him. But
Oh, okay,
oh
all
wait, no,
right.
wait. I think you have to do it to progress in the story.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
yeah, that's bullshit. Racing to
Yeah.
progress in stories is some bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about what you're around my age, so you were probably watching Did you watch Spectacular as it aired?
No, I did not even know what Spectacular was till I joined the
Oh fuck.
server.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking depressing, dude.
So that's why I never really have an attachment to it, like
Oh
everyone
yeah.
else does.
Well, I see, the thing about when I watched Spectacular was it was on like you remember Kids WB or
Yeah, I remember that.
it was on that. It used to air on that for some reason. And then after season 1 ended, they started putting on Disney XD, and I never had cable, so I couldn't watch season 2. I'm like, fuck. So I couldn't watch it, which is why I don't have as much as attachment as everyone else does. Everyone's like, oh, it's the greatest fucking
Yeah,
Spider-Man show ever, and I frankly don't even remember that much from it. I've tried going back and watching it. I'm just not about it.
yeah. Um,
Um,
so what
I get.
was I don't
You,
know.
all right, yep. So you remember Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, the Raimi stuff? Did you see all the Raimi stuff in theaters?
I saw Spider-Man 3 in theaters, but that's it.
I remember seeing only 2 and 3, and I think I also had the problem when I was like 7 when that came out, right? So I still
Yeah.
had the problem where I couldn't fucking watch people die. Like when Harry Osborn got fucking impaled, I'm like, oh fuck, I can't watch this. But I
Really?
remember really, yeah, I couldn't. Also, I think like I somehow blocked out all of my memories of all the bad shit in that movie when I was younger. Like I just
Like, what do you mean by bad shit?
of the in Spider-Man 3, like the dancing emo Peter Parker, like I blocked that out. Like it never came up because I remember it came out on DVD. I'm like, Mom, you gotta get me Spider-Man 3. You gotta get it for me. And I just like remember watching it over and over again. I'm like, this is some good stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't like process it, I guess.
I mean, because my first introduction to Venom was the Ultimate game. I didn't see a problem with the Venom in 3.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't because I didn't know anything beforehand. I just thought the black suit was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, as most kids do, as most people do. Black suit
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And then I actually followed like after Free came out. I'm like, oh, when's the fourth one coming out? It's gonna be great. And this was like around the time that I really like I followed movies I liked. Like this was like when The Dark Knight came out. I'm like, oh, when's the next one come out?
Yeah.
When's Spider-Man 4 gonna come out? And I followed that stuff, and I'm like, 2012. Fuck, that's a long time. That's when the world might end because there was that big
Yeah.
thing. There was dead ass that thing where 2012 was gonna be the end of the world, right? And
Yeah.
I legitimately thought I'm not gonna be able to see fucking Spider-Man 4 or the Dark Knight Rises because the world's gonna end.
And we still didn't see fucking Spider-Man 4.
We didn't get Spider-Man 4 because that got canceled. Like not even 2 years before
Yeah.
the reboot came out. And I'm like, well, shit. Let's see this.
I see when Spider-Man 3, I was like, I don't know how old. It came out 2007, right?
Yeah.
All right. I was like, shoot, maybe 6.
Yeah.
And you can't really remember watching a movie in theaters when you're 6, right?
Right. Right.
So Tassim came out when I was like 10, so that's something I can remember. I
Yeah.
remember being like, "Oh, this is gonna suck. Raimi's better," all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then being a impressionable 10-year-old, I thought that movie was so badass when I got out of the theater.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that. That movie came out on July 4th, right? And I'm like,
Yeah,
when I was 12. So and it came out after Avengers. So I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be as good as Avengers.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, it was July 4th, Independence Day, right? That theater was fucking empty. Like, because everyone else is out like shooting fucking fireworks or whatever. I remember liking the movie. I still like the movie. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. And that was when TASM came out, Amazing Spider-Man. That was actually when I really started getting back into the comics. That's when like Ends of the Earth was out and all the
Yeah.
Dan Slott stuff.
Oh god.
And he was writing Ends of the Earth, and I'd go to the library and get all the trades. Right, I'm like, oh, this is great, because I had like subscription. Pro tip, Anthony, if you ever want to get a subscription directly from Marvel, don't just don't subscribe to them directly. Go to your
Oh.
comic book store.
All right.
But basically I finished reading Ends of the Earth, and that was around the time where Spider-Man became superior. Like I got all the
Yeah.
issues up to 700. I'm like, well, shit. Now I have to read Superior,
Yeah.
and I was on and off for that book for a while because I can't. I was like 13 when I was out. I don't have the money to
Yeah.
throw $5 at like 30 pieces of paper. That's only gonna give me 15 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah. Around this time, that's when the Unlimited game came out, right? And that was my first
Yeah, it is.
like that was my first showing to the Spider-Verse. I didn't know what it was till I got that game. And that's how I know about most Spider-Man
Oh
because of
yeah.
that game.
You said
And
you.
what?
No, you keep going.
Yeah, and that's I read about Superior and I'm like, wow, that sounds cool. So that's how I started reading Superior.
And did you like you? Not a lot of people that we know like Superior.
I like it.
You like
It's a
Superior?
neat idea.
I remember reading the first issue. I'm like, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna be honest, everyone does have to be really dumb in order to not like figure that Spider-Man isn't actually Peter.
Yeah, because he acts like totally different.
Yeah. No one fucking catches on.
No. I mean, the Avengers almost did.
Almost, but then it's like none of the smart people are there. I'm like, you fucking
Yeah.
call a smart person. Um, and that was around the time once Superior ended, TASM 2 came out,
Yeah.
right? And obviously they had to bring Peter back so they could like make bank off of Peter
Yeah.
Parker
Yeah.
as a movie. But I saw that movie in theaters.
I didn't.
I was bored. I was bored out of my mind
Oh,
during that movie. Yeah.
dang.
Yeah. And that was when the third volume of ASM started, and Dan Slott was still writing, and that's when he introduced like Silk and Spider-Verse. This is actually really recent. I'm talking about this like it's ancient history, but it's happened like 4 years ago. And
Yeah.
it's crazy to think that this was 4 years ago. And
TASM
I
2 feels
definitely
like a long time ago.
TASM 2 does feel like a long time ago. I remember like even buying it on Blu-ray. I don't even know why I bought it. I watched it like once.
Throw it away. For the
Nah,
Raimi
I gotta.
memes.
I have to have like a big Blu-ray collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically, and then I started getting back into comics again because I was on and off, for Volume 3 and Superior. Now I'm just buying a whole bunch of shit. And you read Ultimate, right? Like you're
Yeah.
a big fan of Ultimate.
Yeah.
So how did you first get into the Ultimate comics?
The game. Again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I played the game and I'm like, this is awesome. And my cousin lended me the first volume. And
Mhm.
then it kind of stopped from there. I didn't really read it at all. Volume 2 after that. And then once I got into high school, they had the whole thing there. So I
Oh
read
wow.
all of it. And I just love it. It's great.
Yeah. Did you? So high school. That's pretty recent. So that means
Yeah.
you probably didn't like remember. You weren't there for the big deal when like Ultimate Peter died and Miles replaced
No, I
him.
wasn't there. I knew that
I
he
was.
died though, but I didn't know it was Ultimate. I thought he just died in general.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was
I
specific.
saw like headlines because clickbait was still a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, he died, and I'm like, oh, it's just Ultimate. Who gives a fuck?
Oh my
And
god.
he replaces him. I actually own the issue where he dies because
I want to own it so bad.
You can get it. It's fucking dirt cheap. It comes in like this like poly bag, this like neat little bag. I might want to pick up another one just to have it as a collection thing.
It's such a
Um,
nice comic.
yeah, I feel like they handled that death pretty well, but then they brought him back, and that was dumb.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
Yeah, and it's funny that a lot of people don't like Miles that we know. I still read Miles for
I don't. Oh, we have a guest
wait,
here
hold on.
dropping
Hey,
in.
What's it?
boyos.
Paul.
A
What the
random
fuck?
Paul has
You
attacked.
Where are you? Where have you been?
Oh, I've been getting ready.
We're in the middle
Yeah?
of a podcast, man.
Yeah, we're like how far are we in?
This
Anthony?
is like 20 minutes in.
Okay, well this is good.
Oh, okay.
So Paul, we were just talking about how we first started getting to Spider-Man and our history with
Oh,
Spider-Man.
okay.
So let's
Well,
Anthony and I basically went through. Let's see how did you start? Like how young were you when you started like watching the movies or reading comics?
okay, so I remember seeing every single one of the movies in the theaters, starting with 2002. I was like, what, 3 or 4? But I remember it. Like it left an impact on me. So ever since I was a wee little kid, I've been like obsessed with it. Like all from when I was little up until now, that's like all I can remember vividly from my childhood is Spider-Man. The 90s show, the spectacular, everything. Just it's all there.
Is that all right? Well, you want to get into like specifics, like
Ask
you
me.
know,
That's
ask
that's
you.
yeah.
All
Well,
right. Well, all right. Well, you say you said you're like a comic casual, but what have you read from?
oh, so the comic line I've read most from was probably I'd say Amazing around the early 2000s to late 2000s
So like around
most
Ultimate.
most of Ultimate, like
Yeah.
around the first half of Ultimate, because I have in my room right now up to issue 50. So I never finished my collection, but I'm going to finish it eventually.
I only own Volume 1.
Yeah. So and Paul, you're a cosplayer, right? You actually
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you.
That's
So what first got you into that cosplaying?
the fact that I wanted to dress up in a skin tight suit and parading myself around in it.
So around what time would you say you really decided to start making your own costumes? You make most of your costumes from hand,
Uh,
right?
so the Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit I made by hand, but well, I say made by hand. There's a bunch of stuff I got already made, and I just edited that and tailored that. But the first suit I ever got was from an online vendor, and then I puff painted that, but that ended up in a travesty. Like I stained the suit with puff paint. Now I'm just gonna have to make it a battle damage suit. So I mean, not the worst, but it was fun, and I got that suit like what 3 years ago now, and that's why I first got that. So that was fun.
That's pretty cool. And you're still working on that homemade stuff. You're really big into like DIY. You're making like the web shooters and that
Yes,
kind of stuff.
yes, I am. Me and my friend are working on blueprints for it, or we're going to start selling them, and it's going to be great.
Nice.
Right now, here
Oh,
at
that's
F,
cool.
we have like 20 plus people interested in sets of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. What was I gonna say? Fuck. So when you were younger, Paul, and you were into Spider-Man, what did it when you say it left an impact? Like, were you just like obsessed from when you saw the Raimi film in theater, or like were there gaps in what you remember? Like for me, I would always jump back between Spider-Man and Batman, and that's mainly because of the movies. Like Begins came out like a year after the second Raimi film, and I'm like, oh, I'm all about Batman now. But what about you? How did that work
It's
out?
all it's always been like Spider-Man and Star Wars for me.
Yeah.
Like always been what it is, because even right now in my room I have on copies of unopened action figures from when I was a kid, like Doc Ock and Hobgoblin. And then to the right of that, there's my Star Wars shelf, my 2 lightsabers and R2D2 containers. So it's always been like Star Wars and Spider-Man, and it's great. Just all of it.
Oh, that's cool. But what about you, Anthony? Was it always Spider-Man, or did you? I mean, I know people like other stuff, but were there any like leaving like you just forget about Spider-Man after a while?
That'd be Star Wars for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is everyone?
straight
I
up.
guess everyone here. I think I'm actually pretty casual when it comes to Star Wars compared to some of you guys. 'Cause I'm not. I never got into the EU stuff. I never really played any of the games. I like watched the movies and I
man.
called it a day. I don't think I could get into the comics they have right now because I'm not like
No, I would never get into the
invested.
comics
Yeah.
for Star
There's
Wars.
Okay, so there's a set of Star Wars comics that aren't canon anymore, and they would never were canon. They were like tongue in cheek type thing. It's called Tack and Bink, I think, and it's about these 2 stormtroopers, and they were the cause of like most of the just what happened here in the original trilogy. It's great.
Nice.
That's cool. But how did we go from fucking Spider-Man to Star Wars? So fuck me. I don't know what to say now, Anthony. What would you say that I'm gonna take a guess, and Ultimate's probably like your favorite thing from Spider-Man, like
It has to be, dude.
the
Games.
ultimate game. The ultimate game. Well, I mean, Anthony's like the ultimate game really influenced Anthony's fucking whole deal with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Mine was definitely the Raimi films. This is the reason why I started fucking getting into it. But I don't like love it as much as Anthony loves Ultimate. What would you say like was the fucking thing that nailed you into Spider-Man that you call your favorite?
I would say the fact that he was young, right? He was like 15 when he first got his powers.
And
Mhm.
Ultimate.
Yeah, and
And
Ultimate. But yeah, that's what got me into Ultimate. And he's just like super relatable as a character.
Oh, absolutely. It's weird that well they I mean he also got it when he was 15 in the 616. They just like retconned it because if you go back and read the old comics, he's definitely like a senior by the time he gets the powers.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Is like it jumped around so much in the original comics. Like, wait, he was a senior when he got it.
Yeah, and then Civil War, like they definitively said he's
He was
15.
15, and then it's like, okay, what's going on here?
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a question. How did you guys feel when you guys heard that Spidey was gonna make it into the MCU?
I saw the trailer, right? I was not. Everyone was like so hyped for, like, oh yeah, bring Spider-Man. I'm like, they're not gonna do it. So he's not gonna do that. And I was watching the trailer, the one where Spider-Man comes in, and I was just watching it, right?
Yeah.
And there I am, just sitting there. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then I hear him say under ruse. I'm legit screaming in my room. My mom's telling me to shut up. It was
I
just
didn't
the
think-
greatest thing ever. And I was like, this is gonna be the greatest movie I've ever seen from the MCU.
So when I saw that, I was home alone because I was just my parents were out doing something. I remember I saw like a picture of the silhouette on like Reddit or something. I was like, wait, hold the fuck up. No way. I went to YouTube, pulled that shit up, and then I watched the trailer, and then I remember I was also just fucking screaming, like, holy shit, no
So did-
fucking way.
So did you two not hear about how they like any of the news beforehand, like who
No, I
they were
knew,
gonna cast?
I knew. But I just
Yeah,
didn't
I
know-
knew they were rebooting it, but I didn't know they were gonna bring him into the MCU.
Oh,
they were
really?
like Civil
Yeah.
War, waiting for the trailer.
I knew that. I knew like all like the casting call, and I saw like
I
the
followed the casting, and I've been
yeah.
reading Tom
I
Holland
s-
at the beginning.
I was in middle school around the time, so that's when they were like talking
When-
about Tom Holland and all that.
when they were talking about the casting and it was down to like Asa Butterfield and Tom Holland, I'm like, dude,
was
fuck
like-
most of these people. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I thought Asa Butterfield was gonna get it, but now I'm really glad that Tom Holland did and not
Yeah.
fucking Asa Butterfield in the end. I'm super glad that Tom Holland got it.
Imagine a Marvel movie with Asa Butterfield in it.
And from what I hear, Asa Butterfield isn't even that good.
Nope.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Ender's Game?
No,
There we go. There we go.
I didn't watch Ender's Game. I didn't watch fucking Peregrine's.
Ender's Game was it was supposed to be this big giant epic movie adaptation
Mm-hmm.
of a book that's
Yeah.
amazing way,
Yeah.
and it just kind of fell on its face. Harrison Ford's in it, and he's
I
really
know. Yeah, he
but
needed another paycheck. Uh, it's funny you guys say how you guys saw the Civil War trailer because I knew when it was gonna drop and I was waiting and I was actually in class when the trailer dropped. I was like not paying attention to the teacher. I'm like, where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he? And I got to the last like 30 seconds where he shows up, right? He
Yeah.
just hops in, and I lost my mind and I'm like, dude, he's fucking in. He's in the MCU, and the people who were sitting with me, they just didn't give a fuck. They were like, all right, great, he's not in the MCU.
I remember next day I went into the library after seeing the trailer, and I was like, "Have you guys seen the trailer for Civil War?" And they haven't seen it yet, and they had no clue that Spider-Man was in the MCU, so they
Oh,
were
yeah?
excited too. So, it's like say your classmates didn't care.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was just the people that are by me, like the people who like give a fuck about the movies, and it was like one other person.
what's an
Yeah.
MCU?
What?
No, those people they just be like, "What's an MCU?"
Yeah. Yeah. But only one of my friends really cared, and he's like, and when I showed him, he was like really unimpressed because that was when the suit was like unfinished CGI, and it didn't look as good. And I'm like, fuck you. It's great. He's in the movie now.
Yeah, I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, that looks kind of CGI though, but I didn't care.
Yeah, it looks.
Well, I knew the whole thing was CGI. People were like, "No, it's real. It's practical. It's real." I was like, "Really? That is too skin tight to look real at all." Like, no, it's real. Trust me. And then all the behind the scenes footage came out with him in the prototype suit. I was like, told you it wasn't real. But they did use a lot of those design details from the prototype suit in the actual physical suit. And then, so I enjoy it for that reason.
All right, thanks you guys for listening to another episode of Midtown High Dropouts. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Watch
All right,
us
you guys want to say
next time.
bye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you guys
All
later.
right, later.
Subscribe.
Yep.
Do
Smash
that
that
stuff.
button.
Smash that like button.
You guys did great with the last episode.
Yep. All right, thanks you guys.
Bye.
Bye.